Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Dad's Turn to Talk. My name is Bob, and just a reminder out there to go ahead and hit that like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and as always, we do timestamp all of our topics. So if there's something specific you want to listen to, the timestamps are in the description below. You can jump right to that topic. I'm joined as always by these two fools. One in particular who's probably acting more foolish than ever. Josh, how you doing tonight?
Oh, come on. You could put it on Derek instead of me?
No, I'd be lying.
Oh, God. I am doing great. Had a great weekend. We'll talk about it later. And everything is going pretty well. How are you, Bobo?
I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for asking. Just actually got off a stream that I was on somebody else's stream the other night over on Chainsaw Reacts channel. So that was a lot of fun. We talked a little bit about the Lilo and Stitch trailer and talked about one of the topics we're going to talk about tonight. So
nice.
Be fun. So I'm joined by the spokesman for Rogaine. I heard he got a raise over there. How you doing, Derek?
If I'm the spokesman, that company's in very big trouble. We were just talking about stocks. We were just talking about stocks tanking before. If I'm their spokesman, they're out of business in about a week. But other than that, doing fine.
That's good.
All right.
When I started shaving my head, I made a statement to my hair that said, "You can't fire me. I quit."
There you go.
You try to save that hair, Derek. I know that for a fact, but
no, at some point, it ain't worth saving, dude.
No, I know that. But you tried. You tried early on.
It did not work.
I know it didn't.
Mm-mm.
I've been shaving mine for so long that I don't even worry about it.
Just embrace it.
I grew it out briefly because Irene wanted to see what it looked like, and then it took me forever to grow it, so I didn't want to shave it again. So I left it for like 6 months, and then she was like, "No, please shave it." I'm like, "All right." I mean, I told you it was going to look good. I realized when I grew it out, it was a lot further up than what it used to be, and there was a bald spot on the back that you could land a plane on. So.
It's funny because Derek had little hair left when we were in college, and then we graduated, and then we got together. We went back to Tucson for a thing, and he shows up, head shaved, a goatee, and we all went nuts. We're like, "That is awesome! You make that work."
I embraced it
ever since.
It was his heel turn.
It was
it.
Minus the goatee, though. He got rid of the goatee fairly quick.
Yeah. Then I started yelling at the crowd and calling them names.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, let's go ahead and get into our topics for the night, and we'll start with continuing to talk about Daredevil Born Again. So episode 3 came out last night of Daredevil Born Again.
Let's run the spoilers.
Hold on, Josh. I'm just doing the intro, dang it.
Nobody cares. Run the spoiler.
Shut up.
Jeez.
You shut up.
Wait.
Shut up.
You want to host?
Yeah, I was about to say, didn't you go last week?
I can go every week.
Pipe down.
Okay. Anyway, so Daredevil episode 3.
Put your phone down. Don't text me right now. Go ahead, Bob.
Anyway, Daredevil episode 3 came out last night on Disney Plus. We did watch the first 2 episodes. We reviewed it on last week's episode. We all 3 of us really liked episodes 1 and 2. I think we're all in agreement that, at least based on the first 2 episodes, that it wasn't quite as good as the Netflix show, but probably better than anything that Disney Plus has put out with Marvel so far. And again, this is just based on the first 2 episodes. Is that going to last with episode 3? Well, let's go ahead and let's get into it. Before we do, let's throw out a spoiler warning.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
All right. So, Josh, what did you think of episode 3?
I mean, of the show White Tiger, I thought it was good. I'm still waiting to see Daredevil. Is he going to come back into his suit? I mean, how long is this whole season going to be the, Matt Murdock show? I mean, it's good. It's great. I was just like, I'm waiting. I'm like, he doesn't have his friends in it now. and he's not Daredevil right now. That's just one of my early observations. The show itself, the episode was very good. The ending was phenomenal. What's funny is Bob had called me last night or texted Derek and I and said it ends in a shocker. So when they're taking the White Tiger out of the courthouse, I thought, oh, he's going to get gunned down, and that was it. It didn't happen. And then the very end with Punisher taking him out, I was like, oh, I did not expect that at all. So that really was awesome. But again, the whole episode was just the courtroom and was about the White Tiger. I don't know. Is it me, fellas? Are they taking it away from Daredevil? Like, are we not getting more Daredevil in this? Or is this just 1 or 2 episodes and he'll come back and we will be good?
Just for you, Josh, they're going to Gotham this thing for you.
Oh, yeah. God.
Just for you.
Thank you. Am I right though, or am I totally? Because tell me if I'm wrong.
Finish your thoughts, and then we'll get into it with everyone.
Okay, no. Other than that, I'm trying to think what else I liked with the episode. I did like the questioning in the courtroom, how he talked about White Tiger saving various people, including police officers. I thought that whole speech, I was like, oh, that's going to win it for them. And then you had the DA come in and just was a jerk and was like, where he's like, when someone gets pushed off a subway and their body breaks and their organs are smashed, but they're still alive and they don't die until the subway goes into reverse and takes them with it. And I was like, oh, wow, that was pretty heavy. Other than that, look, the show was good. I will say this. I liked this episode better than the second one. I thought this episode did not lag. Okay. I just have this thing. I'm like, okay, so now they shot the White Tiger. I'm watching Matt Murdock. Great. And it's interesting because I try to think like Bob would and say, well, they want to put his kind of detective hat on and make him a well-rounded character. So I'm okay with that. I just hope we start to get Daredevil in episode 4.
So essentially what you're saying is you want some action.
Yeah, I'd like to see a little bit more action. We had a little at the end of 3, but he wasn't Daredevil. When was the last time he was Daredevil? Episode 1, right?
Yeah, but that's kind of the premise of the show is that that he is put away the mask. He's trying to do things the
right
legal way.
But we don't
now he's in a position where Kingpin he's got his anti-vigilante stance that he's taken. He's also got control of the city, as the mayor, and he's still got his criminal enterprise here. So at some point, Matt Murdock is going to have to put the mask back on.
Right.
And I'm wondering if the death of White Tiger is going to be one of those events that spawns him to do so.
Okay.
But anyway, so Josh is upset at the Daredevil show without any Daredevil in it. Derek, why don't you tell us about episode 3 and what you thought about it?
Okay, I do take Josh's point that there's no Daredevil and there's no action. But remember how I talked about there was layers with this show? Different directions?
The onion.
Yeah, and that's actually what the episode 3 really hit that home for me. And now, obviously, I'm a big fan of courtroom scenes because I sang you guys the theme of Law and Order, which we replayed last week in case you guys want to see that. Later, encore, Derek. So obviously I'm going to like courtroom scenes just in general, but that's actually the beauty of what this episode was, because it did suspense in a different way, right? There didn't need to be a big, huge fight because when you're in a courtroom, there's already an intensity already.
Right.
And to Bob's point, the whole show is supposed to be about him trying to keep away from that, but having to revert back. And so you have to tell that story about the reasons for him to have to revert back. And to Bob's point, maybe White Tiger getting ice is one of those reasons.
Right.
Because now that the Punisher is back in this is going to get very ugly very quickly.
Okay.
Because even though Matt Murdock is a man of justice, or at least Matt Murdock is, not the Daredevil, but Matt Murdock is, there's no justice in Frank Castle. Only punishment. And they have never been friends, Daredevil and Punisher. Even when they've had to fight on the same side, they're not friends. And
Josh, if you ever decide to finish Daredevil, the Netflix version of it, when you get to season 2, that the Punisher is a big storyline in season 2.
You're gonna really appreciate that, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I want to. Was Punisher? They did a standalone Punisher movie after Spider-Man 2, right, Bob?
Yeah, they did a couple of movies, but those are unrelated to this.
I know
if we're talking this, if you want real Punisher, watch Daredevil season 2. Obviously, in 2 years when you finish season 1, you can watch season 2, and then you can watch the Punisher season 1 as well, and that was pretty good as well.
And it's the same actor, right?
Yes,
John Bernthal.
Yeah, they had 2 seasons of the Punisher, but my favorite of the 2 was season 1. Just if you want good stuff, but I think they're both fine. But I like season 1 the best.
Okay, what did you think, Bobo?
Any more thoughts, Derek?
No, I mean, I think we're going to get action soon enough, Josh. I think you got to just wait a little bit, peel the layers back, let the story unfold. And I think they did a really good job with that. And I'm just going to say one thing. I love how Matt Murdock gets the victory, but we immediately also get Kingpin's response.
Yes, that was cool.
Yep. And so that was very well done. That was a nice touch. So far, I'm really intrigued. I'm having a good time with it. And we'll hopefully get some action soon. That's my thoughts. I will turn it over to you, Bob.
So as far as the Daredevil show, without any Daredevil in it goes, I really liked episode 3. Yeah. Derek, you sent me a text telling me that this was the Law and Order episode, and it very much is.
Yeah.
The courtroom drama is extremely well done.
Yeah.
The acting in all of those scenes, I think, is extremely well done as well.
Yep.
I like the way you worded it, Derek, that you've got Daredevil Matt Murdock getting his victory, and then Kingpin's response to that. I think that's a good way to look at this.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the highlights for me of the episode, I really liked the scene when they put that witness on the stand, because they were expecting him to testify that he was getting beaten up by the cops, and instead he recanted and said that he was never there, and they had to remove him. And at that point, it forced Matt Murdock to do something out of the ordinary, and he revealed the fact that this guy was in fact White Tiger, and by doing so, that swayed the public opinion on the jury, or swayed the jury's opinion towards this guy, as well as public opinion, because they showed some of the interviews from people outside, like on that little news show that they keep showing, the BB report or whatever, and people were talking about how he was a hero and all this. So public opinion had swayed towards that as well. And so I think that was also why it was real important that Kingpin does what he does. Now, as far as the ending goes, I still don't know if that's the Punisher for sure. I just don't know if Frank Castle is going to be a hired gun for Wilson Fisk, but we'll see. The reveal that you see, the skull on the shirt.
That's what
obviously you think it's the Punisher, and I'm thinking that it is, but I want to see where the storyline's going to go, that he's going to be like a hired gun. I'm sure maybe there's more to it, but the reveal that it was the Punisher who kills White Tiger, I thought was pretty shocking. I did not see it going in that direction,
Mm.
especially because of what I've seen in the previous Daredevil seasons. Because again, this is a carryover
Right.
from the Netflix show. So I'm real curious to see how Frank Castle's going to play into all of this, because we do know he's in the show, he's in the trailer. This is not a spoiler, and so I'm curious to see where this is going to go. Overall, I was real pleased with episode 3.
Yeah.
To your point, Josh, as far as wanting more action, get it, especially because the original Daredevil show was so heavy with action. The fight choreography is amazing
Yeah.
in the Netflix show. Some of the scenes, like the hallway scene in
The hallway.
episode or in season 1, I think it's in episode 2 is when they show it. It's just phenomenal. There's a lot of good fight choreography. There's one scene in the Netflix show where he's fighting this ninja guy who's using like this chain or whatnot, and he gets badly injured in that fight. And that's also when he encounters Wilson Fisk for the first time, as far as hand-to-hand combat after that. And so yeah, it gets pretty intense, the fight sequences in Daredevil, and we haven't seen any of that yet. And I think that's gonna have people questioning a little bit. We actually talked about this on the stream that I was just on, and one of the things that was mentioned was that Daredevil Born Again, remember, it was set to be a certain way, and they reworked it. They brought in some of the Netflix writers and to help rework it. My understanding is a lot of the first episode and the later episodes are part of that rework, that we're actually seeing some of the middle portion, which was kind of what was already there, and they kind of reworked it. Season 2 is being filmed, and that's going to be kind of with the tone that they want to set. So obviously I think this is going to go somewhere. I think this is going to be pretty good, but I get what you're saying, Josh. You want to see some action, because again, the way the original show was, it was phenomenal.
Any thoughts, gentlemen, that maybe that wasn't the real White Tiger?
I was
wondering about that.
That's the real him.
So easily. He got shot so easily.
Well, I still think that was the real one. You have to, because don't you have to tell that story for him to find a way to revert back? Daredevil, I mean?
Yeah, I just don't know, because Bobby, look at Bob. He's kind of like agrees. Like, I was wondering that.
No, I was wondering about that. Now I tend to lean that it was the real one, but I was wondering the same thing, because it happened just so sudden that I was like, did Kingpin stage all this? What?
Now I'll say this. Remember when he said that White Tiger is so much more than a suit. So maybe he's not the only one White Tiger. There could be others out there.
Maybe.
So that's maybe who got, but yet you have the Punisher. If it's the real Punisher, he wouldn't miss like that.
He didn't miss.
I mean, in terms of he wouldn't take the wrong guy.
Well, I mean, if you only seen a guy walking around in a costume.
Yeah. And we don't know. He might have had a good reason to ice that guy that we don't know about.
Yeah, maybe there's some history there we don't know about, and Fisk just kind of directed him towards White Tiger.
Yeah.
That's actually where I thought about this too, because they did make it seem like Fisk did hire Punisher as an assassin, put him on his payroll. But then I'm like, well, that doesn't necessarily have to be the case. What if he just spoke about something and just kind of introduced Punisher? Doesn't mean he said that Kingpin and Punisher don't like each other.
Right.
So that could be a theory in all this too.
But they're not going to. You've said that this is a continuation. So, like, when Punisher meets up with Daredevil, they know each other now. It's not going to be like reintroducing and that he's never seen him before or any of that.
No. There's a big reason that he is brought back to this show. It's because they have history.
Got it.
Yeah.
That and he was cool.
Yeah, and that he's awesome.
Yeah, I want to check it out.
The other scene I really did like was when he met that cop in the bathroom.
Oh yeah,
because that was when That was when you saw him bring out Daredevil. He started speaking real thick New York. He was just like, "Back off, man!" Like,
Oh yes,
he got his
okay.
face. Yep, it was
Yeah,
good. That was a really, really well done scene. Very Quentin Tarantino, like a build up in terms of dialogue that you were ready to see a fight happen. It was great.
and then when he
Oh.
was in the other guy's apartment and he said, "Okay, you got to go,"
Yeah.
because the cop was coming in, and
Mhm.
so he protected him.
Yep.
So I
Well,
thought,
what that bathroom scene? One of the things I think that made it so good was, uh, when you see the cop come in, he tells Matt Murdock, "You can take the glasses off. We're in the bathroom," and, and he's like, "Oh, I can't see you. Who's there?" You know, just knowing full well who it was. He's like, "Yeah, I beat the snot out of you."
What I love about it is he plays blind when he has to. Like when he if it like
Yeah.
if he like just if he just feels like showing like vulnerability, he pulls out the stick.
yes.
It's like, hey guys.
And what's her name held his arm out of the courthouse.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah,
like it was,
it's part of his. It's part of his gimmick. It's part of his disguise, really.
Yeah.
Because
yeah,
he can see. He actually admits that to Foggy when Foggy finds out about him in the original show.
Hmm.
And this really isn't a spoiler, Josh, because you already know
yeah.
that
I mean, not spoilers.
Foggy. Yeah, well, because you already know that Foggy knows that he was
Right.
Daredevil.
Mhm.
Correct.
So he actually admits to him that he can see that it's because of the way his senses are so heightened, he can almost, create visuals out of it. So yeah, he's blind, but he can still make out shapes and objects and stuff.
He sees in different ways. That's what it
Yes.
is. Yeah.
Got it.
He has a different way he sees things. And I think and that was actually why I really liked the episode again, because sometimes you don't need a really big fight. Sometimes a good courtroom scene is the suspense. Right? Like
Look
you
at-
can get,
No,
you can
the
get really
reading,
good action just out of that.
the juror reading it,
Yeah.
to find him not
Mhm.
guilty was very suspenseful.
Yeah.
Like
You
I
know,
was in.
Good stuff.
Just this week, I was looking at clips on YouTube of the movie of A Few Good Men.
Yeah.
And
One
I
of
was
the
watching
best
some of those
movies
clips,
ever.
and that's a movie that doesn't have action, but the drama and the suspense behind it is just it's
You want the
you know,
truth.
it's top tier in that movie.
Yeah.
And part of that is because of the acting, the music, the situations, and that's kind of what you have here now. Obviously, it's not quite at the same level, but my point is that you don't need those action sequences, like you said, Derek, because that courtroom drama is so good.
Yeah.
We've seen it done before. That's a reason why Law and Order works so well, because
Yeah.
this type of stuff, people like it.
Yep.
I mean, it really is suspenseful in its own way.
If you can't get a big fight sequence, why not do that?
No, and I
Creative.
get that. I'm just saying that Daredevil. It's the show's Daredevil Reborn. And I get where they're going at it, but we got to get a little bit more action here. We're
Well,
going
okay. Let's see what happens in episode 4. Now that they've hinted Punisher back, you may not get the Daredevil right away. Maybe you get the Punisher doing some nasty action stuff too.
Yeah,
How
but
many episodes are there supposed to be in this? Is it 8 or 9?
I heard.
eight.
I thought I heard 9.
Yeah, I thought it was 9.
I could be wrong.
Let me check real quick.
Okay.
My concern, as Bobby is looking that up, is what if we don't see Daredevil until episode 9?
Nah, you'll see him.
Is that an issue?
You'll see him before that.
Okay.
It's called Daredevil Reborn, and maybe they need an entire season for him to be reborn.
This is the
Okay,
first
so-
show that's like not PG. They're not going to leave him out until episode 9.
No,
It
It
was-
looks like it's going to be 9 episodes,
okay,
Okay.
like we said. Okay.
and they're already filming season 2. Originally, what I'm reading here is that Daredevil Born Again was supposed to be 18 episodes. They decided to split that into 2 seasons,
Okay.
and so we'll see where it goes from there. But yeah, so it looks like it's going to be 9 episodes. Now, I don't think, Josh, they're going to wait until episode 9 to see Daredevil. My guess is we're probably going to see him probably episode 5, episode
Yep.
6. I think
That's
we're
what
going
I
to
was
start
thinking.
seeing him come back and donning that suit.
Okay.
And which I'm totally good with, because let's get some development. We're always complaining about these shows that there's no development, and then they waste a bunch of time with stuff that doesn't even matter. Now, this episode, I don't want to say it was filler, because I don't think it was filler, because I do think the storyline is going to play into where they're going with this. But I do get your fears, Josh. But let's see where this goes. So far, I like what I'm seeing.
That's fair enough. And don't get me wrong, fellas, I like the episode.
I think it's like we talked about, though. Just take the different layers and the directions, and I think we're going to speed up. I mean, the way episode 3 ended made it pretty clear, like this is going to get fast. Next episode, I'm expecting some big action.
I hope so. I think once Punisher comes into it, we are going to get that.
Right.
Punisher doesn't wait around for his story. He doesn't need any other directions or layers.
Right.
Kill. That's it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. So far through 3 episodes, I think we're all in agreement. Daredevil so far has been pretty good.
Solid.
Yeah. Very watchable.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you guys want to add to that topic before we move on?
Good luck, guys. Keep it going. Good, please.
Yeah. That's what you get.
All right. Well, this next topic is one that we've kind of been talking about for a while, so let's go ahead and get into this.
It's funny. I thought we were going to do the other topic, but then when that came out, I was like, oh, heck yeah.
No. We decided to save the other one for last.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we are going to get into our top 5 worst movies. We have talked about our favorite movies. We have talked about our favorite sequels, our favorite Disney movies, our favorite Disney villains. One of these days we should do like our favorite movie characters of all time. But so we're going to do our top 5 worst movies. And I'm sure each of us had a different way to rank these. So we'll do it the way that we normally do. We'll start with a couple of honorable mentions, and then we'll go ahead and rank those. So let's start with you, Derek. Why don't you give me your 2 honorable mentions?
Okay. I had a bunch of honorable mentions because in case one of mine got taken.
Yeah, exactly.
Top 5.
Well, we're not going to worry about that tonight. We'll just,
all right.
Wherever you rank them, let's just talk about
them. Honorable mentions. My number 7 is a film called Wild Hogs.
Wild Hogs?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to ride, man.
How do you know this movie? We're Wild Hogs?
Okay.
Wild
Hogs.
John Travolta.
Oh, that one?
Go ahead, Derek.
Oh, my God.
It's about 4 middle-aged men who think they're badasses for riding like dad bikes.
Yes.
And you know what I mean when I say a dad bike. Okay.
Yes, I know the movie you're talking about, and I can't remember if I saw it or not.
And so
I said Chris Rock. It's Martin Lawrence, right?
Martin Lawrence, yes.
Oh, okay.
Bob, did we not see it together?
No, we didn't see it together.
We didn't see it together in the theater?
No.
Maybe I saw it with my parents.
Well,
back in the day.
Wherever you did, block that out of your memory. All right, you don't need to remember any of this. This movie is just terrible from beginning to end. They try to make it this feel-good story, and then they try to put some action in it because, oh look, they met a real biker gang. Turns out they're not nice, and you know, the plot thickens. Like, no, it's just dumb movie. My mom dragged me to that because she thought it was great. And I turned to her about halfway through, and I'm like, what the F is this? This is terrible, and why do you like it? So that's my first honorable mention. We doing both honorable mentions now?
Yeah, let's do all of them.
Okay.
Yeah, both honorable mentions, and then we'll do our rankings like we normally do.
Yeah.
All right, got it.
Be quiet,
My
Josh.
second honorable mention is a movie called The Interview.
I didn't see that one.
Oh, good. You don't have to. It's
What's
about James. It's James Franco and Seth Rogen, who basically go to North Korea to try to interview.
Oh, yes.
Hong Kong.
Yes, I've heard about it.
And I just could not believe how stupid this got. And I understand that it was supposed to be dumb, but they took this to a level where it's like, no, you've gone way past dumb now. This is absolutely just ridiculous and not funny. Like, it makes absolutely no sense what happens in that movie. None. And so if you don't, I mean, Bob, if you're looking for a good dumpster fire, I know you love that meme that you send us. So why don't you go ahead and, give yourself some time to watch the movie The Interview.
Okay.
Yeah.
I might consider that.
Oh, then you work in the medical field, don't you?
Yep.
Make sure you get a bed after you watch that.
Oh, God.
Get the fluids in you after that.
That bad. Okay.
Those are my honorable mentions.
All right, Josh, give me your honorable mentions here.
Oh, I've got 3 of them. One of them is Wonder Woman 1984. I thought they completely destroyed that movie. I remember when the trailer came out, Bobby and I loved the music. We're like,
It was
oh,
good.
cool. Kristen Wiig as Cheetah. And we were like, oh, and Chris Pine's back. We were like all into it. Then I saw the movie.
Yeah.
Boy, was it a crap show. I just was like not into it. It was just weird. I did not like Pedro Pascal's character. I thought that he sucked in that character.
Yeah.
I don't think that Kristen Wiig played the cheetah the right way. Just that whole movie was just not good. And it was so bad because we loved the theme song and the
The music was great, and they really did load up that cast. They made it seem like they weren't playing around. So, yeah.
No, and it just and it ended up being, was Chris Pine a figment of her imagination?
It wasn't. She saw Chris Pine.
Yeah.
But his spirit had actually inhabited some other dude's body.
Yeah. Okay. So that was one of them. My other one was Iron Man 3, which to this day I'm pissed off about. That movie had so much going for it. And then they had Trevor come in, who I thought he was the Mandarin. And to this day, I never got my Mandarin against Iron Man. Instead, he comes out of the bathroom, is like, woo, you don't want to go in there. And I'm like, what? It's a guy that just shot people. And they made it a joke. And then you had Pepper flying around, and they blew up the house in Malibu, and it just was not freaking good. To me, it went completely downhill with Trevor, and then Guy Pearce being the Mandarin. Really? It was just so stupid. Still, I really can't watch all of it to this day. And then the other one, I don't know. I just didn't even... Right, it doesn't have to be in order, but Batman and Robin. To me, Batman and Robin was, oh my God. First of all, that was not Batman. That was George Clooney.
Thanks for that, Josh. Thank you very much for that.
No, you saw George Clooney. And then when he takes the credit card out, never leave the Batcave without it. So campy. Oh my God. And then the skates. And then you're not sending me to the cooler. It was just, I mean, think about it. It was so bad. We didn't get another Batman movie for 10 years.
Yeah.
They made up for it.
Actually, I think
They
it
made
was
up
8.
for it. Yeah.
Or was it 8?
I think it was 8 because I think Batman Begins came out in 2005.
And then, I mean, Bobby loves this part, Derek, when Alicia Silverstone comes in and finds the Batcave. And Alfred's like, I expected you would find the cave, child. I have gone in and given you your own batsuit. What? He took her measurements? Like, it's a little weird. Like he knew what her measurements were. Unbelievable. Unreal. So, those are my 3.
All right.
Josh stole one of mine already, so there's that.
Oh,
Well, that's
sorry.
fine.
I got a replacement for it. Don't worry.
Okay. Which one did I steal?
Batman and Robin.
Oh, okay.
that's okay. I have it on my list. I'm still going to mention where I ranked it anyway.
Yeah, I'll do that too.
So,
So
anyway,
at least it's universally disliked. That's good.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
okay. So on my list, I tried to pick movies that disappointed me just so bad that to me it's one of the worst movies ever. Doesn't mean that it's actually would be considered one of the worst, but for me it is because it just disappointed me so bad. Also, though, I do have a few on my list that I just had the unfortunate pleasure of watching that were so bad that I had to put them on this list. So that's the case for my two honorable mentions. It's funny that you mentioned Seth Rogen because he's going to make another appearance here, and that is the movie This Is the End.
Oh
was-
yeah,
You never saw it.
right.
Oh, no.
So it's an end of the world apocalyptic
Yeah.
type thing, and they take passages and ideas from the Bible and they make like this crazy story of end of the world. And a lot of movies do that. You see that with a lot of horror movies, but this was all done as comedy, and it was just so bad, so stupid. The biggest thing I could say to show how stupid it was is when they get to heaven at the end of the movie, when the world ends and they get to heaven, they're dancing around with the Backstreet Boys while they got women in bikinis dancing around in the middle of heaven.
I never saw it, but I'm glad I didn't.
Yeah. The only thing I'll give them is at least it was a cool Backstreet Boys song. So, that's cool. So This Is the End is the first of my honorable mentions. The second one was a movie that I watched not too long ago that came out, I believe it came out last year.
Ooh.
And I saw this movie with Irene while we were just kind of chilling, trying to pick out something.
Oh, you told
They
me
had
that.
it on Netflix. It's called ISS, International Space Station. And the gist of it is, actually has kind of an interesting concept because it's on the International Space Station and you've got the Americans and the Russians and, they're coexisting and they're able to work together and
Okay.
experiments and all sorts of cool stuff. Well, all of a sudden on Earth, a bunch of nukes go off and the two sides are now against each other. So they're stuck up there on the space station and they get orders from each of their governments to kill the other ones. So it sounds like an interesting premise, but the execution of this thing was so bad. The acting was so awful. It was so bad that as I was watching it, I just kept laughing and telling Irene, like, I was asking her, what the heck is this? What is this? This is stupid. It just kept getting worse and worse as it was going on. And it was just so bad. So International Space Station, ISS, that's my second honorable mention.
All right.
All right, Derek.
It's too bad because it does sound interesting. Like,
Yeah, it actually has a pretty interesting premise.
yeah.
It just didn't work in the execution of it. Again, it was badly written, badly directed, badly acted. The dialogue was terrible. It sucks because again, the premise was kind of cool.
Yeah,
So.
it's too bad. Swinging a miss.
All right, Derek, give me your number 5.
All right, so here's and I appreciate where Bob was coming with disappointment. Josh, I'm not sure how you got to yours, but mine are all like universally known to be bad, terrible. And if I watched it, I put it on this list because I tend to agree with them wholeheartedly. If I didn't watch it, I let it slide. Just like, okay, well, I didn't see that, so it's not fair to call it.
Mine are hatred. Mine are hatred for the movie.
Oh, yours are just based off hatred?
But I just can't watch it. It just was so bad.
Because you're mad at them.
Yeah.
He's mad.
Because they didn't do things your way.
Yes.
Okay, good. Glad we cleared that up. All right. My number 5. I need to apologize to our audience right now, but this is the name of the actual movie, and I don't have a choice but to say it. My number 5 is a movie called Freddy Got Fingered.
Oh yeah.
Wait a minute. Are you kidding me? That was my number 5. Did we see that together? Did we see
No.
that?
God, because he kept taking all of ours with the last top 5 we did.
Yeah.
Take some of his.
I was like, nope, none of you would get this.
Oh, yeah. I got it all right.
Worst movie.
Okay. Do you want to know how I ran into this, Josh? I'll tell you, and I'll tell Bob. I'll tell everybody now.
My God.
So we had a roommate. We had a guy that we were really good friends with in college. Somehow he had a VHS of this, and I'm like, "Why do you have that?"
We saw it in the
He goes,
theater.
"I don't know. I think he's like, I think you got it for free or something. I can't remember how he got it." And I'm like, "Do you mind if I take a look at this just to see like what's up?" And he goes, "Yeah, sure." And I have never seen such a godforsakingly off the wall, terrible, like every which thing about it, bad movie.
Bob, have you seen this movie?
I have not seen Freddy Got Fingered, but
Yeah.
the reason why I'm saying when he mentioned it is because I've seen a lot of lists over the years of people who have listed their most hated movies or worst movies, and that one's always on that list.
There's a part in the movie where a kid is skateboarding. He falls on his knee and breaks his knee, and the bone is sticking through it. Tom Green comes in and starts licking the bone.
Yeah.
It was so stupid.
He plays like this cartoonist in the movie, and he makes a cartoon called Zebras in America.
Oh God!
And it's about like centaurian zebra characters.
I don't even remember that. That's how bad this movie is.
Yeah, I remember I like looked up clips about it, and this thing showed up about this cartoon he made.
God.
And look, I'll give Tom Green credit, man. He got very popular there for a while.
Yeah,
but it's like they gave him the reins to make his own movie, and this is what you got.
I never thought anyone else would have agreed with me. Yeah, both of us on our list. It's so random.
It is bad, man.
I've heard it's real bad. So
yeah,
so bad.
Josh, do you want to add anything else to Freddy Got Fingered?
Feel free.
On your list.
I actually, now that he said that, I could add another one that just came to my head that we've talked about. Dark Phoenix.
Well, you hated it more than others did.
I didn't hate it as bad as you did, and I've seen other movies that have that would have taken its place. So,
but Freddy Got Fingered. I'm like, there's no way they'll know this movie. But you didn't go with us?
No, absolutely not. I wasn't going to see that in the theater. Are you kidding me?
Oh my God, we went to.
Platt. I think my roommate went to go see it. But my roommate was crazy back in college. He had Blockbuster Junior in our house. He had a whole cabinet.
Oh my God,
full of DVDs,
cabinets and I remember that.
Some of which were absolutely fantastic movies.
Yes.
Some of which are like, you got Biodome, huh?
I actually like Biodome, so.
Well, there you go.
There you go. It's okay to like a bad movie.
Not number 5. Not that one.
All right, so we're the same. Bob,
okay.
what's yours?
Go ahead, sir.
Well, my number 5 is Batman and Robin.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it is a pretty bad movie, and especially because the first 2 films are so well loved. Batman Forever started bringing in the campiness, but at the end of the day, Batman Forever is still a watchable film. Yeah. It's still got some enjoyable moments. I like some of the additions that they did. I didn't like the additions of bat nipples and stuff like that, but it's not to the point that it's unwatchable like Batman and Robin is. Batman and Robin, right from the get-go, lets you know it's going to be a bad movie when you see them putting on the suits and they start showing their butts and nipples. And you knew it was going to be bad at that point. And you've got Chris O'Donnell saying, I want a car. Chicks dig the car. And he's like, well, this is why Superman works alone. And so you just knew right off the bat it was going to be bad. It just gets worse as it goes.
The Batmobile is horrible.
The what?
The Batmobile. I hated
the Batmobile was pretty bad. It just kept getting worse as the movie went on. Even one of my favorite actors, John Glover, is terrible in the movie as that scientist who, he goes crazy for Pamela Isley, and so it's just bad. Bane is awful in the movie,
real bad.
Yeah, what they did with Batgirl is terrible as well, making her Alfred's niece instead of Commissioner Gordon's daughter.
Oh,
and
hold on real quick, Bob. Bane, was the look okay? Just everything else was crap, or did you hate the look?
The look I didn't think was great either. I think it looked like bad cosplay.
Okay.
But Bane, instead of being an intelligent guy, he's sitting there. I mean, he was pretty bad. I mean, I prefer Tom Hardy's Bane to them. Go behind you, black paint prison.
And do you accept this man's resignation?
The first storm, black gate.
It's such different impressions.
but both
you think darkness is your ally.
It would be very painful for you.
It sounds like
he's almost got like a twang to him where he's like, where he tells Bruce Wayne, he's like, I was born into it, molded by it. We're going mobile.
He's actually a pretty good villain. I'll hand it to him.
But he's intelligent and whatnot. And so they gave actually a very interesting explanation to his mask and all that stuff. So overall, he was good as Bane. What we got at Batman and Robin was just trash. So Batman and Robin's my number 5.
In the comics, wasn't he from South America in the comics?
Yes.
So
he's from South America in the comics.
Right.
So
okay.
That would be okay. That would make a great limited series.
What
is to do Nightfall?
Yes, the
Nightfall storyline and do that as an HBO Max series or something like that. I think that would be awesome.
That's a great idea.
Get the folks on the line who did the Penguin. Tell them we got an idea.
Yeah.
Let's make
it
happen.
Right, Derek, give me your number 4. Still another one of Josh's.
I don't know. I may not get that lucky again. I'll try. My number 4 is actually a movie I saw as a kid, and I hated it then, and I hate it now.
Oh my God, what is it?
It was a movie called Mac and Me.
Huh?
I remember Mac and Me, but I don't remember the storyline. But I remember I saw it. I just don't remember the storyline.
It is a complete E.T. ripoff.
Yes. Okay. I remember seeing it.
Okay, I'm looking this up.
What's that?
I'm looking this up because I want to. It doesn't ring a bell.
The alien is just absolutely ridiculous looking. He somehow crashes on the planet, just ends up here, and the boy who finds him is in a wheelchair. It's just like, what? And you could tell it was a ripoff the whole time. I'm just like, this feels like E.T.
3.4 out of 10. Wow.
2 out of 10?
3.4.
3.4? Okay. And then you find out that McDonald's was basically the one that took all the press from this, or like the advertising, to try to capitalize on it. So every Happy Meal was that. Every drink cup was that. It's just terrible. It's just a complete sham and a complete ripoff because E.T. was so awesome. Somebody felt like they had to try to capitalize on that momentum, and they went with that. It is just a terrible ripoff.
Who was in it? Jade Category, Jonathan.
Look at that. That's the alien.
Oh, jeez, that's horrible looking.
Yeah.
I can't see that.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, that's disgusting. Turn it off. That is horrible. Oh my God.
And you look at that for about 2 hours.
Crap, mega crap.
It's been a while since we saw Jay Jonah. Thank you for that.
That's an F.
That's bad.
Real bad. And like I said, it was terrible then. It's terrible now. and Josh just looked it up to prove the score on it. So, yeah, if I think like somehow this has managed to like escape like any type of streaming service or like HBO or Showtime. None of them will touch it. Luckily, I think it may be out of our lives, but that was my number 4.
All right. Josh, what do you got at number 4?
So at number 4 is a movie that Bobo told me I had to watch.
Oh,
And he knows what this movie is.
I know which one it is.
It is The Eternals.
yeah.
This movie is god-awful. Except for the first 5 minutes, which Bob said, yeah. I started watching this movie, and I'm like, what is he talking about? And then at the 6-minute mark, it all went downhill. Oh, it was atrocious. I didn't know what it was about. It was just dumb. It was boring. The only good character, the one who trained for it, I can't think of his name, was actually the comedian who, him.
There they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Was
it.
the one in the back was not in the final 30 minutes of the film. Then you
Somebody
had
first
Sprite. Oh my God, was it bad? Yeah, to me, shame on Marvel for doing something that bad. It had no story. It was just about diversity, equity, and inclusion. I'm going to say it. It sucked, and it was not good.
Well, you're not wrong there, Josh, about that's all it was about. I mean, when they were on the red carpet, they would ask them, well, tell us what makes this movie so special. Well, we have a diverse cast, and people are going to be able to see themselves in the superheroes. Not one of those actors said, well, this movie is going to take a Marvel to a cosmic level, and we're going to introduce new concepts and ideas that are really going to push the MCU forward. Nobody said anything like that. Every single one of them, their selling point was DEI. And because of that, you knew it was going to be bad to begin with, because if that was your selling point, there's a problem with your script.
Yeah. Exactly.
It was, I remember I watched this when my firstborn was, he was still very, very young. And I remember, like, this is when, you still have nap times and things like that. And sometimes you just want to go and take a nap. But I tried to stay up. And I remember, like, at some points, like, you're just kind of, like, delusional because maybe you don't get enough sleep. And I remember at least, like, 5 or 6 times. I mean, just leaving out the DEI stuff, there were, like, 5 or 6 times where, like, wait, did I miss something? Like, what is going on right now?
So bad. It made no sense.
Nothing added up. Like, it went all over the place.
Yeah, it was not good. It was not good.
No.
All right, Bob, what's your number 4?
All right, my number 4, I was real disappointed in this film, partly because I enjoyed the first one so much. And the second one I liked. I don't think the second one's necessarily a good movie, but I did like it. Third one is garbage. So I was hoping maybe the fourth one would be a little bit better.
Matrix.
And it's even worse garbage than the third one. My choice is Jaws: The Revenge.
Oh, wow.
Now, if you think that the shark looked fake,
oh no,
in the other movies, look at
that.
Wow.
Looks like a Muppet.
Yeah. The shark looked really bad in this one. And so the basic premise of Jaws: The Revenge is that because the Chief Brody killed 2 sharks in the first 2 films, and the Brodies were working at SeaWorld and killed a shark there at SeaWorld, that a great white shark now is seeking revenge on the Brody family and kills one of the Brodies at the beginning of the film. And because the mother is so distraught because Roy Scheider's character has passed on at this point, she goes to the Bahamas to be with her other son, and the shark follows them from Amity all the way down to the Bahamas. and is now just trying to kill the Brody family. Specifically, this shark is targeting the Brody family. It is so terrible. It's the shark looks awful in this one. The premise is terrible. Even the great Michael Caine, who's in the movie, cannot save the movie.
Wow.
And yeah, it's an awful movie. I like the first Jaws movie. I love it. Love the first Jaws movie.
Yeah,
It's a
first Jaws
classic movie.
Yeah.
The second one, I don't think is necessarily a good film, but it's entertaining, and I still enjoy it. Like I said, 3 is garbage, and 4 is like a dumpster fire. It's terrible. Huh?
What was the third one called?
It was just called Jaws. Well, it's actually Jaws 3D because it was supposed to be in 3D. And if you watch it, there's stuff where it looks bad on screen because it was meant to be like 3D effects. So if you watch it as 2D, it looks bad. Well, I'm pretty sure it looked bad in 3D too. But Jaws the Revenge is awful. So that's my number 4.
All
right, Derek, give me your number 3.
All right. This one I'm just going to do a spite because I hate this movie and I think it's still terrible and it took something I loved and trashed it. My number 3 is the first Super Mario Brothers movie.
Really?
Yes.
It is bad.
It's awful.
It's so random.
Do you saw it, right?
Yes, many times.
So, okay.
It's bad.
Yeah. Let me see if I get this straight. There's 2 brothers in it, one of whom actually is a British guy, the other of whom is a New York Puerto Rican, and they're both trying to play Italians. And one of them is Mario, and then Luigi Mario.
I guess we were so young when it came out. I didn't think about that, but I'm sure now if I saw it, I'd be like,
what year did that come out?
90.
Hold on.
Oh, God. 89, 90, something like that?
we were like 9 years
1993.
old. Oh, did?
Man. Wow. It was late.
No. Really?
Yeah, I guess so.
Huh.
And then Dennis Hopper's there. I'm like, where's Bowser? Where is he?
God, I guess not. It's been so long since I've seen it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, there's Mario and
there they are.
Luigi. And then look, these are the Koopas.
Oh, jeez. This is so bad.
That's awful.
Look at that.
Wow.
Okay. I am very happy that they brought this back to they just made it a cartoon. They got some, big actor. That's exactly what it should have been. Always was a cartoon,
right?
Because that's what it is.
That was the smart way to do it. Is to make it an animated film.
Yep. And
because it already works as a television show.
It's true. Good point. Yeah. Captain Lou Albano was Mario, wasn't he?
Yeah. What they did was they had like a little live action. Portion that they would do, and then that would lead into whatever cartoon they were talking about. And then remember at the end of the week, because like Monday through Thursday they would have Mario cartoons, and then when we got to Friday they would show a Zelda cartoon.
That was great, fantastic. Yep, that was good stuff. It was a good choice to do that, and as the cartoon, and then it had a bunch of awesome voices for the cast too. Chris Pratt, Mario, Charlie Day, Luigi, Jack Black as Bowser is fantastic.
Oh gosh, yes,
he was so good. It was really well done. It was great. So good on him for remaking that and doing it the right way. But heaven help you if you catch that one, you'll never be able to get that out of your head, ever. Okay, so that's that, and I'm still mad at him for it.
All right. So that's your number 3. Josh, what is your number 3?
All right. So my number 3 is a movie. I don't know if you guys have seen. I've seen it one time. Can't really explain a lot about it, but hated it. Summer of Sam.
I've seen it, but it's been so long I don't remember much about it.
I want to say the premise was about Charles Manson. And Derek's looking it up, right? This is how
I never saw it.
It's horrible. It's horrible. That's all I can say. Was I right there?
It's 99.
Yeah, about Charles Manson.
I don't even think it's. No.
Dave, it's during the summer of 1977. A killer knows the summer sand keeps all of New York City on edge.
Yeah, it's got
Vinny.
No, it's not about Manson.
It wasn't about Manson.
No, it's about. I mean, it's probably based. It's probably about another, murderer, but it's not about Manson.
See, that's how bad it was. He doesn't even remember anything about it.
It was so bad. Bob, you saw it?
I remember seeing it, but I don't remember anything about it. I must have seen it when it first came out because I've never seen it since.
Yeah, it was atrocious. It was
Missed that one.
It's a Spike Lee film too.
I'll always remember that movie. Never liked it.
That's too bad.
Yeah, I thought it was terrible.
All
right, Bob.
My number 3, I happened to walk in on Irene when she started watching this movie, and she was about 5 minutes into it. I'd come home from work, and she had just started watching it, and I was like, okay, you already started this. We can just go ahead and finish it. I regret that I ever watched any of this. This has got to be one of the most god-awful films I have ever seen in my life. And this movie was Amelia Perez, the one that just came out this year, was nominated for Best Picture.
Oh, yeah.
I have I know why it was nominated for Best Picture, but this is a god awful movie.
Wow.
So it won the Golden Globe for Best Musical / Comedy. I don't know how the heck this beat out Wicked for Best Musical.
Yeah.
So the gist of the movie is that there's this drug cartel leader who decides to fake his own death to get out of some trouble or something. I missed like that first few minutes of it. So because of that, I wasn't quite sure the reason why, but he decides to fake his own death, and he after he fakes his death, his wife who's played by Selena Gomez, and his kids move away, and his lawyer, who's Zoe Saldana, decides, or he tells his lawyer, who knows that he's still alive, that he really feels like he is a woman, and so he transitions into a woman, and he, I guess she now, and he decides he wants to have his kids, and so he brings the ex-wife and the kids to move back in, and she's now pretending that he's one of the cousins of the drug cartel leader, and the ex-wife starts dating like an old flame, and then it starts getting ugly, and they end up murdering each other, and it is so convoluted, but it's badly acted, badly directed. The songs, which I heard everybody praising, were god awful. This has got to be one of the. I almost felt like I was watching a parody when I was watching it, because I was like, "This is a real movie," and it was it was so bad, and it was nominated for Best Picture. It probably would have won had it not turned out that the lead actor had a bunch of controversial tweets in the background, and that ended up tanking the movie. But and the reason I say I think it would have won Best Picture is I think they would have given it to it just to make a statement, because we all know that the Academy Awards are highly political. And so, yeah, it was just an awful movie. It's one of the worst I've ever seen. If you look at social media, or you I'll pull it up right now, the Rotten Tomatoes score.
Yeah.
And you look at that, let's see, Amelia Perez. There it is. Okay. So let me share this. You'll see what the audience thought as opposed to the critics. So it's got a 72% from the critics, 16% from the audience.
Dang.
That's huge.
It's actually a little higher if you go just by the top critics, so 77%. We're talking, and it's got over 10,000 ratings. The average score is 1.4 out of 5.
Wow. What about Blaine?
What
does Blaine say?
Oh, yeah. You know what? Let's see what critics.
That's a good question.
About this movie.
Sure, he loved it.
-5%.
Yeah. It wasn't
Let's see what
rad.
they. There it is. All right.
Oh.
They got an heinous 8% from 24 viewers.
Wow.
Jeez.
Let's see if Blaine put a one up here. I don't even know if he was willing to watch this.
Oof.
Let's see. I don't see one from Blaine, but I kid you not. This is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. I have to point it out why it's so bad is because it was so highly praised, and that just shows the big disconnect between the audience and the critics.
Right.
That we're looking for totally different things. So yeah, Amelia Pettis, that's my number 3.
Okay.
Sorry, I walked in on that. Gosh.
All right, what are we at? Number 2?
Yeah.
Derek, what's your number 2?
Well, it was Batman and Robin.
Well, if you have anything else to say about it, say it.
What else do you think?
No, there's nothing more to say. That just needs to be forgotten about completely from the whole Batman franchise and everything else. Just leave it now.
Me to the cooler.
And the Batman will be no more.
I hate it when people talk during the movie.
Well, that's true. I can't hate on Arnold for that.
Oh my God.
So how about I throw a substitution in there?
Go ahead if you want to.
Okay. I'm going to apologize to the ladies who may be watching this. I'm sorry. Bride Wars goes number. I'm going to throw that in there.
Bride Wars.
Yes.
You never saw Bride Wars?
Who was in it?
No. I'll tell you how I saw this. Okay. I got sick, and I'm sitting at home, and I had HBO on, and I woke up. The movie was starting, but the remote was all the way on the other side of the room.
Too lazy.
And I was too lazy and tired, sick, to go get it and pick it up and try to switch the channel.
2009 film.
So that's how that got in there.
All right. So Bride Wars as an
Mhm.
honorable mention. All right.
Okay.
Batman and Robin, though, was your number 2.
Batman and Robin was my
One
number
of
2.
my favorite actors.
Yeah, the
Oh,
cast
no.
is okay on it.
I mean, yeah, it's fine. I mean, Kate. I mean, I'm a big Kate Hudson fan. Whoosh, she's quite lovely.
Wow.
But yeah.
I think she's great in How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Yep.
So she was in that. She was in Knives Out. Wait, no, the other one. Not Knives Out, but it was the second knife. The same guy. Same detective. Forget the name
something
of it.
Onion, Glass Onion.
Glass Onion. Yes.
See, Josh, those are Ryan Johnson movies. You wouldn't like them.
I don't watch them.
I did think Knives Out was good. I like
to say they're not. I mean, Knives Out wasn't bad.
No, I just won't watch it.
Oh God, you and your stupid little protest.
You watch.
Yeah, look, as much as I don't like Ryan Johnson, like from a standpoint where with what he did to Star Wars, as well as some of his insistence to make a lot of his films and stuff about messaging, I can't deny the fact that he's directed some of the best episodes of Breaking Bad.
Yeah, it's true.
Not the best episode. I mean, I could argue that one of his episodes in season 5 is arguably the best episode. I think he did the one where what's his name, Hank, got killed.
Oh, did he do that one?
I think he did that episode.
You're telling me.
One. Yeah.
So
when
it's not like you're going to even watch it, Josh, and you're going to forget
exactly.
between now and then anyway.
When are you going to watch Breaking Bad? Tell us.
I just watched 20 episodes tonight.
Lies, lies, lies.
There you go. He's going to do it.
All right.
Jeez, Josh.
All right.
Can't even get through Daredevil.
God, that was like can't even get through Daredevil.
We can't. He's been working on. He got through like 3 episodes in like 3 months.
And what did I tell you? What did I just tell you today?
Oh,
exactly.
I'm tired.
Exactly. I keep falling asleep. All right. Is it my turn?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Derek already knows.
no.
Derek knows my number 2.
All right, give us your number 2.
Yes, I know where your number 2
Go
is.
ahead, Derek. Say it.
Blow, right?
Yep. Blow. Worst movie I've seen. I thought it was atrocious. We saw it in college.
Wait a minute. You just said it's the worst movie you've ever seen.
Well,
Then
no,
why is it number one?
because you'll see my number one.
Well, because I already know you're number one.
I don't think you do.
If
Anyway,
it's not the one that I'm thinking, then I will be surprised.
then yeah, Blow was just who was Johnny Depp was in it, and I didn't like it. I thought it was a terrible movie, and was not
Which is
into
your
it.
own fault.
You know what? Be quiet.
No, I will not.
My time, not your time. My time.
Stupid.
Okay?
Stupid.
You're stupid.
Well, in all fairness, Derek, this is not as bad as the my best friend's wedding take that he had. Blow,
Okay,
I'll
all
give you some
right.
credit
Well,
on
that's
that one.
yes, that's.
I'll give you some
Why
credit
do we
on
have to keep bringing it up? Why do we have to keep bringing it up?
You're not letting that down.
Because it's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so that's my number 2, Blow, because it.
All right. My number 2, I was extremely disappointed in this one. I went to go see it with my son,
Okay.
and we were both looking forward to this one because it was the revival of a franchise that hadn't had a movie in quite some time. My number 2 was The Matrix Resurrections.
Oh, okay. I'm not surprised.
Wait, now that was Matrix Revolutions was the third one.
The Matrix Resurrections.
The newest one.
Oh, so that was okay.
This is the one that came out in 2021. It came out. It was actually a dual release to theaters and Max at the same time because it was one of the deal that they had. Even though the movies were already back in swing in 2021, Max already had the deal that they would do simul releases with all the WB films, and so this is one of those that did that. I wish I had stayed home and watched it instead of going to the theater. It takes a dump all over everything that they had done with the original films. First off, The Matrix should have been one movie. That's it. One movie.
Yeah.
Now, I did like.
I like the second one. We like the
Gosh,
second.
be quiet. It's my time. My time.
Mm-hmm.
And that you established those rules. It's my time.
Mm-hmm.
My time.
No. Okay. I enjoyed the second one. The third one, I don't think is a good film. I don't even think the second one is necessarily a great film. I think it's enjoyable and it introduces some interesting ideas, like that the whole idea of the one was just another form of control. I thought that was kind of interesting. Well, anyway, so you get to the Matrix Resurrections, and after the way it ended with Neo dying in the third film, the machines took his body, I guess, rebuilt it and plugged him back into the Matrix. And same thing with Trinity. They got her body, fixed her up, plugged her back into the Matrix. And now Thomas Anderson. He's Thomas Anderson again. And
Mr. Anderson.
He ends up working for like a computer company that actually formed the idea of the Matrix into a video game, because apparently he still had all those memories. So he develops them like into a video game. It's like a real meta look at the Matrix and whatnot. And so he's got to go through the whole thing all over again, where he's got to take one of the pills. He's got to come out of the Matrix. He's got to train again. Now he does have some of his skills that he had before, but he can't fly or any of that. But he finds out that Trinity's there, and so he's trying to save Trinity. It just gets real convoluted. But the biggest thing that I thought was the worst thing that they did was it turns out that Trinity is also the one, not just Neo. They are actually like 1A and 1B. She can fly and all of that stuff too. So it ends with her saving him, and she's flying through the air. Finally, he develops the way to fly again. And so the final scene is they're talking to the new architect, and you see them flying off together and whatnot. It was terrible. They took a dump all over the Matrix. I hated what they did in that movie. It was so disappointing because I was looking forward to having a Matrix film, because it was the first one since 2003, something like that. And so I was looking forward to it, and yeah, it was god awful. So
danger. It's too bad.
Matrix Resurrections, my number 2.
Okay.
All right, drum rolls. All right, Derek, give us your number 1.
Before I do that, Josh, Blow is a good movie. You're stupid for not liking it. My Time.
Shut up.
What the heck was that,
Right.
Josh?
Yeah, you stared like a deer in headlights. Yeah,
I know.
It wasn't that far off from that.
The face you were making reminded me of the James Franco roast where they said he suffers from a condition called dumb face.
You want to look like Tim Curry?
Yeah,
Right, go ahead.
you need to put on that jacket, then you'll look like him.
I know.
So, all right, my number 1. The only way this movie got made is somebody owed, like a big time exec owed a favor to somebody, or was worried about blackmail on some level. I don't know what it is. This movie is called Movie 43.
Movie 43.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta look this up here.
Movie 43
Obvious no clue.
is a movie about really nothing. It just has a bunch of really they're trying to be funny, and it just is like more disgusting if anything else. And it's just a bunch of skits. You think at first it very well could be funny, because if you look at the cast, you're like, dang, that's amazing.
That's a good cast. I'm looking at this thing.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Banks, Kristen Bell, Halle Berry, Kate Bosworth, Gerard Butler, Josh Duhamel, Anna Faris, Richard Gere, Terrence Howard, Hugh Jackman, Johnny Knoxville. I mean, good Lord.
How is this your most hated movie ever?
Allow me to explain.
Okay.
Uma Thurman, Sean William
Yeah.
Scott, Emma Stone, Jason Sudeikis, Naomi Watts, Kate Winslet. Good Lord.
Okay. The movie isn't actually about anything. It's just these skits, these bits that they do. And they're trying to be funny, but it's not funny at all. Okay? For example, Kate Winslet goes out on a blind date with the one and only Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
Who, of course, is Hugh Jackman with his, he's got a good-looking dude, walks in with the scarf on. It's winter night in New York. He takes off his scarf, and his chin is a nutsack.
What?
Yes.
Oh God. Oh God. I gotta pull this up.
Yeah. And that's and the hilarity ensues. Look at that.
Wow.
Okay. So
I
that's
don't know what to think.
yeah, exactly. And then there's the other thing of like another skit that they did, another bit that they did was Chris Pratt and Anna Faris were actually married at one point. I think they were actually married in this movie.
Yeah, they were.
Chris Pratt is pretending like he's getting ready to propose. Says, "There's something I want to ask you." There's something I want to ask you too, honey. Okay, you go first, and then I'll go. Okay, I want you to take a dump on me.
What is this? Oh my God.
Okay, now I want you to imagine how many more skits this can get into with this cast, just based off those two.
That is atrocious.
Yep.
Wow.
And Bob, shout out to your boy Dennis Quaid, because he's the guy who leads you all the way through this.
Jeez.
Oh.
If you ever come across this,
Don't see it.
turn the TV off as fast as you can.
All right. Thanks for the heads up.
I mean, if you really want to see maybe one of the worst movies ever released, just to say that you have seen it, go for it.
No way. Can't
But,
do it. After
wow.
that, what you just told us? No way.
Yes. That's what this movie is. For an hour and a half. That's what this movie is.
Wow.
Yeah.
All
Movie
right.
43, Toast.
Movie 43.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Josh, give me your number 1.
All right, Bob, what is it?
I'm pretty sure it's The Last Jedi.
You are right.
Okay, I'm just gonna say this now. So that's my worst movie as well.
Okay.
But mine's probably could be. Well, I'll say what I'm gonna say in a minute. Go ahead, Josh.
Go ahead. You go ahead. Go by
Okay,
all.
what I was gonna say is, I'll be honest. It's from a technical standpoint, I don't think it's the worst movie I've ever seen.
Okay.
I think there's actually some decent acting, and
Yes.
the the CGI is fine, the special effects. I think all that's fine. The biggest issue I have with it is the excitement level that I had built up for it, and where it took the franchise and what they did was just so bad that I have to put that as my worst. To be honest, I actually think The Rise of Skywalker is a worse made movie, but this one was just so disrespectful to the lore
Yep.
and what had come before. That's why I have it as my number one, because of of my excitement was here and where I ended up. Go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, I totally agree. Visually, fantastic looking film. I will say that. The acting was good. That's it. It destroyed Star Wars. We have not been the same since. It was a slap in the face to Star Wars. It is why I cannot watch any other Rian Johnson movies because of, I'm thinking outside the box. Yeah, but you took one director's vision and destroyed it. Like you did everything the opposite of what J.J. Abrams had set in stone. And it just is a horrible movie. Where could I start? Carrie Fisher flying through space as Mary Poppins. Luke Skywalker hating the Jedi, wanting to kill his nephew, who had never done anything, but would not kill his father, who had murdered millions of people and younglings. Then you get Luke Skywalker drinking milk from a boob. What else?
The space moose.
Whatever. You've got Luke projecting himself across the galaxy instead of having this amazing fight, and then dying of a heart attack. I mean, it's never been the same. None of the fans, it didn't give us closure or anything. It was horrible. It's my number one. It's crap. It's a movie that Bobo has yet to watch again, except a new edited version that was released on YouTube. That was much better than this.
It was a fan edited version,
Right.
and they actually took out some of the ridiculousness of the film. Now, obviously, they couldn't make it perfect because they're stuck with the footage they got, but they were able to make the movie somewhat watchable for me.
Right.
But that's the only time I've ever seen it since, and it was just that one time.
It is on all the time on TNT, on TBS, on FX, and I can watch 5 minutes of it. That's it.
I don't even try. So
that's how just the beginning. I would say the first 5 minutes until Hux and Poe start joking around, and then I just have to turn it off. Or the very beginning scene with Luke and Kylo Ren. Other than that, can't watch it. So yeah, that's my number one. That's Bobby's number one. Shame on you, Derek. That should be your number one.
He's never seen it.
Never saw it.
You never saw it?
No.
He's made that clear, Josh.
I've told you that before. There you go. Get that out of the way. All right.
Real quick, Josh, before we move on, when you get a chance, go check out the next episode of that Kenobi of the What If. Yeah, and then he actually edited them all together into one. So if you want to listen to the whole thing straight through,
done finally,
I think that's the last one, but it's like 40 minutes long. And then when he puts them all together, it's like an hour and a half or something like that. So
I just looked it up when was it released?
I don't know. I haven't listened to it yet, but it was like a week ago or something like that.
Okay, I'll check it. I'm surprised.
Well, you don't need to go check it right now. I'm just telling you.
I know. I'm just looking. All right. So very cool.
All right. So I'm hesitant to get into this next topic, but Josh, I am going to throw you a bone on this one. And
really?
We're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about the most recent AEW pay-per-view.
You're such a jerk. Ass. I'm going to say it. Here. You are not nice.
Oh, that was good.
So, folks, in case you couldn't figure out, the circus came into town, and,
Your face is a circus.
AEW had their most recent pay-per-view, AEW Revolution. And the reason we wanted to talk about this, well, Josh always wants to talk about this, but the reason we wanted to talk about this is Josh actually had the opportunity to go to this pay-per-view. And Josh, why don't you give us the recap of this? Tell us a little bit about your experience, and then give us a recap. And then afterwards, I want to kind of piggyback off that and talk about where can AEW go from this, because we're also in the middle of WrestleMania season. So how can they compete? So go ahead and give us a recap.
So I got invited by a friend of mine who actually works for TNT to come see it. We had fantastic seats. We were actually kind of on the first level of Crypto.com Arena, right by the aisleway, one level up, and then we could see the ring. We had perfect seats, and it was one of the most amazing experiences I've had. Now, I've seen pay-per-views before, not a lot. I saw SummerSlam 2014, I think that was at Crypto, when that was the one where Lesnar destroyed Cena with all the German suplexes and everything. That was impressive. It was crazy. And I think, was Punk there? No. Or yeah, he was. Right, Derek? I don't know. But anyway.
Maybe. I don't know. I can't remember now. No, he wasn't there. He was not.
Okay, he was not there. But anyway.
He left earlier.
This event was unreal. The crowd was into it. We had arrived. I guess the 0 hour started at 3:30. We got there at 4. It was already packed by the time we got there. Something Bobby says they can't sell out anything. Derek says they should only have 2,000 people in the crowd. It literally.
How packed was it, Josh?
Huh? They had over 11,000 fans in it.
That's not what the capacity is for the venue.
It was my time, not yours.
Stop whining.
I will say it was funny, Josh, that you sent us the picture during 0 hour, and you're like, it's packed. And I'm looking at the picture, and I was like,
it was.
I was like, this is like 25% empty. I was like, at least wait until the showtime to send us the picture. Anyway. Because I figured it was going to fill up because I knew it was 0 hour. So,
but yeah, some of the matches were just okay. Let me start with I'll do with the bad first. I would say the Sasha Banks match or Mercedes Moné match, not good. I don't know what's going on with her. Not a lot of people were into it. Lots of mistakes.
Like her.
Yeah, no one was really necessarily into it. You know, they're kind of into the theme song. People were like happy with the theme, but that was it. I thought the tag title match was not great. In fact, I'm upset I didn't go get something to eat during that match.
Okay.
The two guys, the Outrunners, which have like a cool looking gimmick, like made mistakes. Like one jumped over the rope for the hot tag and tripped. And it wasn't like, yeah, it was embarrassing. It wasn't good. And the match that really just ruined everything was the main event. You had Moxley versus Edge, and Edge's intro was awesome. I will say that people were going, crazy for it. I had decided after they were introduced, I needed to run to the bathroom because I'm like, I really don't care. I come back out, and guys, the arena was dead. Quiet. Now, we were in hour 4, by the way, of watching this. So, yes, it could have been just exhaustion. But they were just like not into it. And then you had Christian come out, and the whole crowd went nuts. We're like, oh my God, this could be cool, because they did a very similar like Money in the Bank thing, but it's him signing a contract. And he comes in and taps out to Moxley, and Moxley wins the title. And everyone was like, they had to send out Swerve Strickland, who is now the new #1 contender for the title, to come out in a way and save the day. because he was so over that was the only thing they could do. Before I get into the good, I will say this one thing you asked me, Bob, about going forward. I watched Dynamite tonight, and I don't know what's going to happen. It was a good show. Next Wednesday, they announced Edge versus Moxley in a street fight for the title. So I don't know if they're changing it up and going to like do something different. They did hint tonight, Osprey at maybe getting the challenging for the belt at All In Texas, which is what maybe they're leaning towards. Now, as far as all the other matches, oh my God, so many amazing ones.
Real quick, Josh, I just wanted to share this here real quick because you mentioned about Osprey.
Yeah.
And just something that I saw today. I thought that was kind of interesting here.
Is this a joke? This is a joke.
No, you're just.
Here we go. There we go. What is that? I don't even. Yeah, that's stupid. That's stupid. Yeah.
It's saying that EO Sky is greater than Osprey.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that was stupid. Might be.
Why is it stupid? It's true.
Might be the stupidest thing you've done. Okay, can you let me finish? So anyway,
go ahead.
The first match that opened the night was MJF versus Adam Hangman Page. Great match. It was great seeing MJF in person. I think he came out wearing a Canadian tights. We couldn't tell, we couldn't see, but if that's the case, that is funny. The match was great. They did a fantastic job. There was this one scene where he started clapping at the crowd and everyone's going crazy. And then he goes from rope to rope. And then let's just say he runs Paige over with down below. Let's just say that. And Paige got so upset and started attacking him. Very shocking that Paige won the match. There was a instant move where we all thought he slammed. Did you guys see it? Did you guys finally see the?
No.
No. Of course we didn't. We thought he had broken his neck. That's how they went back to the replay, and we were like, "Oh, he's done." But apparently, he was on tonight and seemed fine. The other match. So Derek loves Strickland and Swerve Strickland, and I was like, I don't see it. And I told Derek,
loves a bit of an overstatement.
You liked it. You like him.
Yeah, I think he's talented. I think he's good.
And what I saw the other night with him against Ricochet was a fantastic match. Like, he earned my respect. Like, the crowd was into him. He had some great maneuvers, and that guy's a beast. That guy and he can move in the ring really well. I thought that match was a really good match and was actually a candidate for me for match of the night. But then we had the other matches that just one after another. Kenny Omega versus I can never pronounce his name. Anyway, was an amazing
match. Or something like that.
I really can't.
Yeah.
I think it's like Takashita or something like that.
Tascada. I don't know. Anyway, first of all, the whole crowd erupted for Omega when he came out. He looked the best he's looked. He had been injured all year last year. I told Derek Bob, he hit him with those knees. You heard it in the arena. I thought the ending was a little underwhelming with it. He just did a roll up, but he became champion. Rumor is, I don't know, because after tonight they announced a international tournament, championship tournament. And he's going to fight whoever wins that at Dynasty next month. So I heard the rumor that they want to unify the Continental title with his title, and the Continental champion is Okada. So that could be amazing I think Derek said he had heard the possibility of them doing that in Dallas, which could be awesome. And then, oh my God, the match that should have been the main event, Toni Storm versus Mariah May. This has been a feud, and we've all talked about how AEW has struggled with storytelling.
Okay.
This was done perfectly. And boy, they started out. Mariah May shows up with a wedding veil and a bouquet, goes down to the ring. Here comes Tony Storm, and Mariah May runs right at her, and they start punching at each other, just going at it, and everyone's going crazy. And Tony Storm like picks her up in a power bomb off the stage into a table. Then they get in the ring, and each girl has a bucket with like glass, and they start wrapping their hands and putting it into the glass and start going at it. They're bleeding, not afraid to do anything. And at the very end, Tony Storm hits her with her Storm pile driver from a step into the table, and it ends. And what do they show on the screen? The end. And it's done. The rivalry's over. In fact, tonight somebody else attacked Tony Storm, one of the new girls, this like behemoth, this Amazon. I don't know her name yet. And actually, a really cool scene was, I guess, Luther, who is Tony Storm's manager, tried to protect her, and Mariah May hits him, and he goes flying over this like table full of champagne glasses. Just an amazing match, amazing storytelling. If they had put that as the main event, we would have not been tired and be over it. I think we would have gone crazy for that. And then finally, the match of the year for me right now was the cage match with Ospreay and Fletcher. One of the most amazing cage matches I've seen, and I on TV, in person, whatever. They start out with each of them climbing the cage and staring at each other from one corner to the other. Both jump down and they just start going at it. And he had this move, the Spanish Fly, where he flips him over, but Ospreay did it to Fletcher on top of the cage. It was incredible. It was insane, and the storytelling and the bleeding, and they did I just read someone's review of it the other earlier today, where they talked about it was technical wrestling, it was high flying, it was a fight, it had everything in it, and Ospreay ended up winning, but it was just amazing. It was amazing. I really wish you guys had been there, because they really did an amazing job. It was so cool to get away for 4 hours of my time and see something like this. Look, you asked me, where do I think it's going? You're in WrestleMania season. I don't think anyone's beating WrestleMania. Not AEW. No, you're not beating WrestleMania, obviously. It's WrestleMania. They have it set. But if AEW can just continue to do what they did, because the whole world is talking about it. The only issue was the main event. Don't give me that look, Derek.
The whole world.
Everyone is talking about the event the other night. Everyone.
Who? Who's everyone?
Let me explain something. You guys are WWE enthusiasts.
Red ass, red ass, red ass, red ass, red ass.
You have your blinders
Red
on,
ass,
and that's all
red ass,
there.
red
Anyway,
ass.
so that's where I think we are. It was cool. Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up.
All right, Josh. In all fairness,
Shut up, shut up.
in all fairness,
No,
I did.
in all fairness. It's
Hey,
not
Josh, would you shut up and let me talk?
good. Yes, go ahead.
I'm actually going to praise them.
Okay.
In all fairness,
Yes.
I did read on social media, a lot of people were saying that it was a good pay-per-view and that the big problem was the main event. So a lot of what I read kind of corresponded to what you said.
Okay.
So I think that seemed to be the consensus from what people were saying. Now, obviously, I haven't seen it. I'm not going to see it.
No.
I'm not going to watch the pay-per-view. I've told you that I'm not going to pay for the pay-per-views. Even if WWE was having them, I wouldn't be paying for them.
I get it.
So what I'm curious to see is if this pay-per-view was so good, how they're going to follow up. Because I agree with you, Derek. And even you just said it, Josh. They're not going to compete with WrestleMania.
No.
There's no way about that. I mean, the story that they're setting up with WrestleMania with a heel John Cena, a possible triple threat match with Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and CM Punk. I mean, then for the women, Io Sky, probably Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair. I mean, I just don't see how they could compete with any of this. But they still have a responsibility to follow up what was a good pay-per-view
Right.
with good television. And this has always been my biggest argument against AEW is that, yes, I'm not going to deny that maybe the pay-per-views are good because I've seen some clips from their pay-per-views in the past. Because again, I won't watch the full pay-per-view, but will watch the clips, and they do seem entertaining. The issue that I've got is that their television show, which is what they do to build up those storylines, because the matches are the culmination of that story.
Right.
I don't think they're on that level to build it up. I'll watch clips from Dynamite or Collision, and they just don't spark my interest because I don't get any heat. And I get your argument that, oh well, you should watch it. But do I really need to? I mean, that's the whole point of watching the clips. If I know something is crap, I'm not gonna take a bite of it and go, I wonder if the end of of this is going to taste any better than the first part. Once I see the clip and I know that it's bad, it hasn't sparked my interest. So what I want to see from them, because I do want to see some competition, because I think competition breeds better product for both organizations.
Yeah.
And that would force WWE to stay on top of their game. That would force TNA to try to raise their game. That would force, everybody would have to really raise their game if AEW, because they've got the resources, if they could pull their product up. So I want to see them elevate their television show to the level that their pay-per-views are at. And obviously, you're not going to measure up to a pay-per-view. That's the same thing with most shows, but your storytelling is what draws the people in. And that's what I want to see. I want to see them draw me in. Get me interested in it.
Christian said something very funny tonight so he signed the contract and they interviewed him tonight and he said, I want to tell you something right now. I signed that contract. It was supposed to be a one-on-one match with Edge. The referee never told me it was a three-way match. I want my rematch.
Why wouldn't it have been a three-way match?
He was joking. He's a heel.
Well, yeah, I mean, but Edge wasn't the champion.
I know,
right?
but he was just like thinking that Edge would have won. I don't know. I'm curious. Next week, we'll get the street fight. So that means no rules. So maybe something happens. We'll see. We'll see if they listen to the crowd. If Edge wins, or if I don't know what Christian can do now because he already signed the contract. But they are doing a rematch for the title on TV next week. So we'll see what happens. Maybe it is Edge who wins. And, they've been kind of doing, after the show, or when the pay-per-view went off the air, Edge and Strickland were in the ring. And Strickland was like, I admire you. I've always respected you. I bought your DVDs. I bought your book. And Edge was like, yeah, that's mine. But I want you to know it was in this arena I won Money in the Bank. So if you win that title for Moxley, I'm coming after you. And so I don't know. It just seems, and then walked out of the ring. Anyway, Derek, what do you think?
Give us some thoughts here, Derek.
All right.
Lay some wisdom on us.
So I agree with what you mean, the sentiment that was made. You're not going to beat him in Mania season. Don't even try.
No,
get your stuff together. Figure out your own stories.
Yeah,
and try to improve on that game.
Right.
Now, AEW is already at a disadvantage because number one, historically, their pay-per-views have been stellar. They get to TV, they fizzle, like Bob said.
Right.
They have a very big history of that. Number two, they're ending some very big, very key stories. Now that Toni Storm's done with Mariah May, which was a big highlight for them.
Right.
They got to figure out what to do with her next, which it sounds like they've got an idea on from some behemoth woman. I don't know who that is.
I gotta find her name.
All right. So you ended that one. It sounds like you ended like now Kenny Omega doesn't have his fight anymore. Will Fletcher's done with his.
Yeah, he's going to compete against whoever wins this Dynasty International title tournament.
And then Will Ospreay's done with his fight, right?
Yeah. He's going to go after. He said he wants to be involved in the Owen Hart tournament.
Okay, so
that's his style. That's his thing now.
All right, so that means that you've run out of stories for your top stars. Now that's nice because you also have a clean slate.
Right.
You can start them off, however you would like to. So there is advantage to that. But that's where the storytelling really does have to come into play.
Correct.
And I understand that AEW is also its own product. So when Will Ospreay says, I want to be part of the Owen Hart tournament, you can make the Owen Hart tournament a thing too. And maybe you could create some stories within a tournament.
Exactly.
They kind of alluded to that, I think, actually last year when, like, Jeff Jarrett was in it. He's like, this may be my only shot left. There were like 3 stories I remember 3 stories in particular where I was like, okay, that's actually a pretty good way to do a tournament because now everybody's fighting, but every person has their own story. So then you get into these matches and it elevates each one.
That's how Mariah May started the rivalry with Toni Storm. She won the tournament and hit her with the belt.
I remember that, yeah. And then stabbed her heel into her head.
Yes.
So, yeah, that happened too. That was a very, hold on one second. We'll get into that in a minute.
Yeah.
So now they have an advantage to see how they can really get that storytelling going. I do think there is something to be said about how they do utilize blood on that show.
I'm sorry, Derek. I'm sitting here laughing. It's because Josh, he takes a drink, and as soon as he took the drink, I started going.
It's so good.
And sure enough, there's Josh going.
There it is.
It's so good. So good.
And then Josh realized I was making fun of him there.
I totally missed it. My bad. I should have.
You'll catch it when you're on the watch back. So.
All right, go ahead.
I do think there's a problem with how they do utilize blood on that show at times.
Okay.
Like, Josh, you had told me, like, the fact that they're drinking each other's blood. Come on, what is that?
The crowd went crazy for it.
I don't care
about it. People were
Josh.
itching, scratching.
I think
I even caught him doing that.
No, I want you to do it because this whole time I've turned the video off so I can do it. I think it's an AEW thing.
Okay, folks, for the reason why we were laughing at that is because Josh likes to scratch himself a lot during these shows. And he realized that last week. And so this week he's been trying to cut off the camera until that moment. So I had to make fun of him there.
So it was time. That's fair.
Go ahead.
Buddy.
I do think that there's a little too much. Like I can't remember who sent me this clip, but they had this match where it looked like this choreographed dance movements thing that they were trying to do, and it just at some point. Yo, is that you? Okay, yeah.
It might have been.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Well, there's this clip of this AEW match where it looks like they had rehearsed this whole sequence at the beginning. And I looked at that and I'm just like, okay, look, I can appreciate good wrestling like anybody else can, but they turned this into synchronized swimming.
Who was it?
I don't know. I can't remember. But I'm definitely like, that's too much. But like, you can't make it look that purposefully fake.
No, and they didn't the other night.
Well, hopefully they keep it up.
We'll see. We'll see if they can. Look, I watched it tonight. Was it as good as the pay-per-view? No. There were some things I was like, okay. But they did utilize, as many stars as they could tonight. Some that were not on the pay-per-view. There's this new faction with Samoa Joe, Hook, and Shibata. And they're dominating people. So maybe they're going after the Death Riders. I don't know.
Okay, and that's the other sad part about this is that the one story that sounded like it should have ended didn't.
Well, I know. No one understands it.
So
And
it
that's
sounds like they need to wrap that one up.
Well, what I'm hoping for, gentlemen, is that there were enough people complaining about this that Tony Khan was like, okay, we're doing the street fight next week. We're ending it.
All right. Well, we'll see.
Or he makes everyone go crazy and Moxley retains again. And so it'll probably happen.
Yeah. I don't know. I hope they find some good direction out of this.
I hope so. I hope so. It was a really cool event. I love the independent scene, and it was awesome to just see these guys perform. And so I was honest with both of you. I said some of the matches, no, was not into it. And then the other ones, it just was like, it was interesting. Every match was long. I've never seen it. I think they said the tag team title match was the shortest one. And maybe that was like 12 minutes, if that. Everything else it was, I know MJF. We started at 5, and I had looked at my phone, and it was like 5:15, and they were still going. So, but we'll see. But I appreciate you guys letting me talk about it. It was fun. And yeah, we'll see where it goes.
The thing is like I said, they're not going to be able to compete with them. But the truth
I
is,
wouldn't expect them to right now.
Yeah, the truth is, maybe they can get better.
Bite me. You're a jerk. Of course they can. And their biggest pay-per-view is going to be in July, when you're not competing with WWE in terms of like WrestleMania season.
Well, hold on. You're not that, yeah, exactly. That's their first 2-nighter too. So this year, SummerSlam's 2 nights.
You're kidding me. It's 2 nights.
It's 2 nights.
Yep.
Well, we'll see.
And they're gonna jam pack that thing.
I know. That's why TNA AEW's just gotta come in, and you don't need ex-WWE guys. Use the guys you have and create awesome storylines. Like I told you guys, you center that whole company around Ospreay, Fletcher.
Yeah, but you just also talked about how great Christian is there. So that's not really, come on, man.
Hey, we all wanted Christian to win the title that night. Like, that would have been awesome.
See? All right. So that's an ex-WWE guy.
So, yes.
So they can have value there.
But he's at least changed his persona. Like, he's a totally different person than he was in WWE.
Still ex-WWE.
I give up. You just ruined the whole thing. I'm done. Have a good night. Bite me, bite me, bite me, bite me, bite me, bite me, bite me.
All right, Josh. We know you had fun at this, and that's why we wanted you to be able to talk about it and give us your opinion on it. So
I appreciate it.
All right. Anything else before we close it out for the night?
Nope.
All right.
You going to Vegas, Josh?
Huh?
You going to Vegas?
For what?
A real wrestling show?
Wow. Let me tell you, you guys can out wrestle anyone in the WWE. Like,
is that right?
Well, that cage match the other night on Monday night. Wow, that was great.
What'd you say, Josh?
So glad we had a winner on Monday night.
What'd you say about who could out wrestle who?
Oh, all the AEW guys could out wrestle the WWE guys.
Yeah, right.
Easily. Omega, Ospreay. You know what I saw the other night? I saw the same holds over and over and over again in the cage match. They couldn't do anything else.
They didn't need to.
It was horrible. No,
it wasn't.
Go watch the cage match for Sunday night. You'll agree with me.
No.
If you don't want to agree with me, you'll agree with me.
No, I'm not going to do that.
Okay, you know what? You get an F. I'm done. You are pissing me off, Derek. You are pissing me off. You're a WWE sympathizer. You're
Red
a
ass,
WWE
red
sympathizer.
ass, red ass.
Kiss my ass. Kiss my ass. You have broken.
I had to do it before we left.
All right, let's close it up with some social media
All right.
here before Josh loses it over here.
I'm starting to itch.
All right,
Yeah.
Josh, why don't you give us your social media? Where can we find you at?
You can find me in the unemployment line. No, I'm kidding. You can find me in Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and TikTok.
All right, Derek, where can we find you at?
You can find me on LinkedIn and Facebook. I may have to get back on Facebook and talk about movie 43 just to get some thoughts out of my head. Dear Lord, I got to cleanse myself because I don't like that again. Anyway, go ahead.
All right, and you can find me over on my YouTube channel, Bob Loves Movies. You can also find me on Criticless and X, and I'm also a weekly panelist on Monday nights over on the MSK show. Go ahead and check that out. We have some fun over there. What can I say? So, want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. For the AEW fans out there, we're sorry it sucks, but hopefully you'll get there one day. And overall, though, thanks for joining us tonight, gentlemen. It was a blast talking with you tonight, and we will see you all next week.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Thanks, gang. Bye.
Bye-bye.